and welcome to a brand new episode of the Blooming Valley Garden Club podcast. I'm your host, Justine.
And I'm your host, Bethany.
And we are back in the studio today. We got some great content for you. We have some surprises coming up in this episode. But my goodness, the biggest update we have is, ladies and gentlemen, we are post-frost day. Are we not, Bethany?
We are, and now we can plant everything in the garden.
Amazing, that magical day, post-frost day. It did come a little later this year. We did have to push it back a few days, but you know what? That's gardening.
That's right. You got to roll with the punches in gardening.
It is true. So we're going to talk a little bit about our to-do list post-frost day. My to-do list is growing by the hour. My goodness, I put in my garden. My neighbor was so excited. I have now helped him set up a garden as well. Bethany, how's your to-do list going?
It's going. It's been a really busy day today. It's Sunday, and we took the whole day out in the garden, and we were doing lots of weeding, and haven't started any planting just yet of the final things, the peppers and tomatoes, but that's going to be tomorrow's work. So the to-do list just does keep growing, and I'm so excited for all of it, actually.
Amazing. And now for surprise number one, we have a guest in the studio today. Hugo, welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
Hello, guys. I'm good. Thanks, and you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. Hugo, how is your to-do list after Frost Day?
Honestly, it's going well, actually. It's kind of the same as you two. The weeding, planting as well. Yeah, and today we did tomatoes. And actually, since it's been 3 weeks now, from now.
Amazing.
Some of the tomatoes are in the ground.
I wish you best of luck with tomatoes. Listeners who have been following us on previous episodes, we do know we have had some drama with tomatoes in the past.
And it will continue.
Yeah, non-stop tomato drama on this podcast. So listeners, you've heard a new voice. This is our dear friend, Hugo. Hugo, how are you doing today?
I'm actually going well, yeah. A bit tired, but yeah. It's a life, but I'm really excited to be there today, yeah.
We're excited to have you on the podcast. So you are a seasoned gardener, I hear. How long have you been gardening?
Like official, it's 3 years, 4 years now. Well, with my family, we always did the garden at home. Every summer we had one, but more professional. It was more after my study in agriculture. So, yeah.
Amazing. You studied agriculture?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Very cool. So what does that look like? Like, is that a couple of years? What kind of studies are you doing?
I actually did the DAP, so it's like the shorter version. It was quick, the things, like the basic things. So, yeah, it was, a year.
Amazing. And so with that educational foundation, what is it that you like to garden?
Maybe a basic answer, the results, of the harvesting at the end of the season. Well, actually, also a basic answer, but to see the seed or the plant grow.
Is that also one of the things you like is harvesting time?
Yeah, I really love harvesting. But I have to agree with Hugo that there's joy in every moment of the gardening process, because there's this sort of moment when you step back and look at a plant that you planted from seed and you've seen it through, and you're just thinking, wow, a little bit of care and this incredible food source or beautiful flower has come into being, and I was a little part of that, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very gratifying feeling to watch those plants grow and take care of them all the way through.
It is. And we're so happy to have Hugo's knowledge and expertise here on the podcast, because I hear that you have some knowledge on something that I find super interesting, and that is fruit trees.
Yeah.
So as listeners know, I'm from Alberta. We have a very limited amount of fruit trees that we can grow out in the prairies. And I was shocked learning that you can actually grow a wide amount of fruit trees here in this area, southern Quebec. Is that true?
Yeah, I remember when I went over there, Alberta. I was like not shocked, but kind of impressed that here in the southern Quebec we can grow these type of fruits.
OK, donc Hugo, qu'est-ce que tu aimes chez les arbres fruitiers? Qu'est-ce qui te botte?
C'est vraiment le côté, tout ce qui est fleurs, je trouve ça vraiment impressionnant. Tout ce qui est l'odeur aussi, c'est enivrant honnêtement. L'odeur un peu de sucre et de miel. En tout cas, bref, juste en y parlant. Mais avant ça, il y a aussi comment on trim l'arbre aussi. En anglais, c'est pruning. Mais après ça, c'est aussi, comme que je disais tantôt avec les légumes, stade de bébé fruit jusqu'à la maturation. Mais là, je passe d'un peu un sujet à l'autre. Ouais. Je sais pas si ça répond tout à...
Oui, tu réponds beaucoup de choses et tout est intéressant. On peut creuser un peu plus dans certaines choses. Mais j'avais pas entendu le mot couleur parce que je sais qu'il y a toute l'odeur et tout. C'est intéressant pour moi que pour toi, ce soit l'odeur qui prime.
Ouais.
Peut-être même sur la couleur.
Ouais, ben ça, ben aussi à la... en fait, on parle de ça, mais j'ai même pas pensé à la couleur, honnêtement. Mais oui, première place, ça serait l'odeur, mais la deuxième place, ça serait la couleur.
OK.
Mais ouais.
Oui, la beauté,
Ouais.
juste la beauté visuelle de ça. So just to recap in English a little there, we were saying that, Hugo was explaining that for him, it's odor first, like the smell of the fruit trees when they're in blossom, that sort of honeyed scent that's so fleeting and only lasts for this short while in spring it almost is intoxicating. And then next it was, of course, seeing the fruit forming and all the way through to the mature fruit, which is, of course, so exciting to see that result. And then I mentioned that I was surprised he didn't talk about the colors of the blossoms, but he said, no, I do very much care for the gorgeous array of colors that we see on the trees in that early spring period. So that was, I think, pretty much everything we spoke of.
As well, one more thing that I like about this, the kind of beauté éphémère. Like, it's quick. It's like a week or so. That's everything. All gone.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That fast?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the ephemeral beauty, yeah. like the mayfly that just lasts for...
Amazing. We're going to move to our second segment, which is perfect for beginners like me. We're going to start talking about different definitions in the garden, some vocabulary that might come up when you're considering different types of plants. So, Professor Bethany, if I could ask for a thesis, nice and short, what are we talking about when we talk about perennials versus annuals? What do those words mean?
When you think of the word annual, you probably think of the year, the calendar, the annual calendar. So annuals are plants that have to be planted again each year. You start the whole process from seed to the end of it again every year. Whereas perennials, you plant them once and then they're going to pretty much take care of themselves and continue to come back year after year. So an example of a perennial would be a lilac or a rose. In terms of vegetables, we could think of asparagus is one that comes back. You don't have to plant it from seed again and again each year. But, your lettuces, you'll have to plant again each spring. And tomatoes, too, in our climate. Mm-hmm. So that's the basic difference. Does that...
It does, but I'm so curious. What is going on with the seed that it comes back every year? Like, what's going on? What's going on under the dirt that some come back and some don't?
Right. So I think part of it is having to do with hardiness zones. So we're here in zone 5B in Quebec, where we are in the southwestern area, the Montérégie. So what is annual here may actually be perennial elsewhere.
Really? So it can vary that much depending on geography.
For sure. Yeah. So there are examples of plants that can be grown as perennials in Florida, say, that up here would only be annuals. Because of our harsh winters, right? So the plants have to be able to withstand the harsh conditions of our minus 25 degrees that it can get down to on a really cold day with the wind and the snow. So if they can withstand that, then they're hardy and they can be perennial plants.
Amazing.
If you want to have the most success with a perennial, it's good usually to plant it in the spring, not when it's super hot in the middle of summer. So you plant it in the spring, let it develop those nice roots and a stronger, plant so that it can withstand those temperatures come the fall. Although I will say that for some trees and bushes and, shrubs and whatnot, it is advisable to plant in the fall. So there are little, but as a general rule, I think it's best to plant perennials in the spring.
Amazing. Do you have a favorite perennial?
I suppose I would say the peony. It's a very classic cottage garden flower, and it smells incredible. It has nice foliage that stays quite glossy green throughout the whole summer.
Oh.
And everybody loves the big, fluffy, frothy bloom of a peony.
Hugo, do you have a favorite perennial?
I would say lilacs.
Beautiful. We'll try to link these in the show notes so listeners are able to look at them. My favorite perennial is that old Dutch classic, the tulip. I grew up with tulips in my childhood garden. My mom always made sure when I was very young to plant a bunch of them. And you knew it was spring when you saw those shoots coming back up, and it seemed like a magic trick every time.
Oh, yeah. Tulips are amazing and so many different colors that you can play around with. I will say with tulips, they can be very good perennial choices, but sometimes certain varieties might need to be replaced more often than one would think.
Wow.
And I don't know all the details of why and how, but it's something that we should perhaps look into searching more for a future segment on tulips and planting bulbs in the fall for spring.
Amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to move on into heirloom versus hybrid.
Donc, Hugo, j'ai une question pour toi.
Ouais.
Parce que moi, je ne connais pas trop la différence entre les plantes hybrides et les plantes ancestrales.
Je vais répondre à cette question-là. Je vais commencer par les variétés ancestrales, puis souvent on dit une variété heirloom. Donc, je vais prendre une sorte de légume / fruit, d'ailleurs, qui est très controversé, puisque souvent on dit que c'est un fruit, mais il y en a des gens qui disent que c'est un légume, bref. La tomate, oui. Souvent, en fait, ça. Donc, une variété ancestrale, ça serait une variété cultivée depuis plusieurs années, en fait, littéralement centaines d'années. C'est plus côté, comment je pourrais dire? Les gens recherchent souvent une variété ancestrale pour le goût, la forme de la tomate. Donc, on dit des bonnes grosses tomates, c'est souvent une variété ancestrale. Donc, oui. Et aussi, par contre, là, il y a les points un peu négatifs. Ça serait plus côté maladie. Ils sont moins... désolé, j'ai l'anglais et le français en ce moment qui se mélangent, mais en effet, que je pourrais dire. Puisque les maladies, ils sont plus attaqués. Il y a plus, c'est ça, de maladies et ça dure moins longtemps que les variétés hybrides. Donc, je pense que ça fait un peu le tour. Pour les variétés hybrides, ça serait plus une variété qui a un peu été transformée. Souvent, on va l'appeler la F1. Souvent, sur les petits paquets de semences, tu vas voir le nom de variété. La tomate Roma F1. Ça, c'est la première génération, si je pourrais dire, de semences pour planter. Souvent, c'est ça. Ça va faire quand même une relativement bonne tomate, mais ça va pas avoir les mêmes
Caractéristiques?
Exactement, merci. Les mêmes caractéristiques que la tomate heirloom. Donc, ça va quand même être la bonne tomate, mais c'est ça, ça va. Aspect. Donc, voilà.
Et une petite question, est-ce qu'on peut prendre les graines d'une tomate hybride, F1 ou quoi, pour replanter le printemps prochain ou...
Oui, exactement. C'était quelque chose que j'allais dire. Techniquement, oui, tu peux le faire, mais je parle, ça, c'est vu que je l'ai déjà fait comme expérience. La réponse, c'est oui, mais non. Donc, si tu replantes la semence, c'est sûr que tu vas avoir un plant de tomate qui va être beau et qui va bien pousser, mais tu vas pas être sûr de qu'est-ce qui va ressortir. puisque ça se peut que ça aille rechercher d'autres gènes ou la variété de tomates, mais qui va être un peu moins bonne, genre, si je pourrais dire. Puis c'est pas mal ça. Il y avait quelque chose d'autre que je voulais dire, mais j'ai un peu oublié. Donc voilà. Au pire, si ça revient, je vais le dire en plein milieu d'une autre. Sur un autre
Ça va te revenir. Ça va te revenir. So I'll recap in English. So the difference between hybrid and heirloom. In terms of heirloom plants, these are seeds that have been passed down for generations, sometimes hundreds of years, and you know what you're getting every time you plant them. You know, you save seed from the tomato, say, and you know that next year when you plant that, you'll get the same shape and color and taste and all of this. And however, those plants can be a bit less resistant to disease than their more engineered counterparts, the hybrid plants. So hybrid plants have been messed with, let's say, by scientists to create a plant that's going to perform really well. The problem is with them, if you save seed from them and plant that the next year, you could end up with something a little different than what you had the year before, because the plant is able to go and sort of, the way Hugo described this is go and look for other genes while it's living the first summer. And so things can happen and you end up with a different genetic makeup in that seed. So for many people, there are, I think, a lot of benefits to choosing heirloom seeds, especially there's almost like a romance to them as well. I think people do romanticize the big special, you know, striped German tomato that's so delicious.
They are beautiful at the farmer's market.
Yeah, yes.
Like if you're going to take a selfie for the farmer's market, you're getting the heirloom tomato.
That's right. That's it. So there are benefits and drawbacks to each. I don't think it's a bad thing to plant hybrid ones. In fact, it could be just the thing you need if you don't have a lot of time to devote to caring for your tomatoes. Maybe you should pick a hybrid one that is sure to perform better in terms of disease and whatnot.
Food for thought.
Actually, one more thing. So yeah, what I was gonna say, if you're growing tomatoes in a greenhouse, it's always good to have hybrid one, and outside it's do what you want. But yeah,
kind of like a controlled environment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. We will have to have an episode on greenhouses because I do find them beautiful, but I find them very mysterious as well.
It's actually another world.
Oh, yes.
Un autre monde.
Un autre monde.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, listeners, we've been hearing some beautiful French from Bethany, so I hope you're ready for the most aggressive Anglo accent you've ever heard. Hugo, qu'est-ce qu'une mauvaise herbe?
Une mauvaise herbe, ou sinon on peut appeler ça en anglais un weed, bref, anyway. Ou sinon un adventice, c'est un mot un peu plus technique. Une mauvaise herbe, c'est grosso modo la définition la plus simple, ça serait disons qu'on a un petit espace qu'on cultive, puis que c'est un peu la place est tout nue, il y a seulement de la terre. Puis là, il y a des petites herbes qui poussent. C'est une herbe qui est pas désirée, en fait. Fait que techniquement parlant, tout peut être une mauvaise herbe. C'est sûr qu'il y a des mauvaises herbes un peu classifiées, mais en grosso modo, c'est un peu... dès qu'il y a quelque chose qui est là, puis que tu le veux pas, ça peut être considéré comme étant une mauvaise herbe.
I love the way that Hugo described a weed as, you know, whatever plant you don't want in that spot where it is, that could be a weed. So a rose could be a weed in the wrong spot. But there are definitely all these different classes of weeds that are sort of more or less obviously weeds. And so they get called bad herbe, mauvaise herbe, right?
I was going to ask, for our Anglophone listeners, can you translate the word mauvaise?
Yes, mauvais or mauvaise, because herbe is a feminine, so we use the feminine version of the word. Mauvaise means bad.
Yes. Yeah. So for listeners, the reason I wanted to include this particular segment is because mauvaise herbe literally translates into like bad plant. And I thought that was just such a charming way to describe something like a weed.
It is. And Hugo also mentioned there's another more technical term that is less loaded. It is adventice. And that means more like adventitious might be an actual English word. And I think it means, a plant that is sort of volunteering itself in this spot because it's a great opportunity for it. It's going to grow really well there. And it's probably native, could be invasive though, could be something that's come from far away and that then just really likes the conditions in this particular ecological landscape that you're in. So, for example, dandelions, pretty sure that they're not native to here, but they're weeds and, we'll double check that. That could be a big. We will double check this before we put it in the podcast.
Show notes, listeners. Don't worry, we're not going to give you bad info here.
Yeah, we'll try.
I was going to make a joke that this advantageous plant. You're also describing me. That's my personality. I insert myself into a social situation. I'm like going to see an advantage here for myself and start a podcast.
I think that's wonderful. Yeah, we should take some notes from the weeds, right? They grow well. They don't really seem to need too much from the world. They're just there. So I love it.
Here's your philosophical tip for the week, listeners. Learn from the weeds.
That's right.
So listeners, we have a fantastic new segment here for you now that we are bringing in the professionals on this podcast. This segment is called Insider Tips and Tricks, giving you that first-class knowledge so you are ready to garden with confidence. Insider tips and tricks number 1 comes from me. You got to be careful when you're pruning your herbs. Look, if you're a beginner gardener, I really recommend starting with herbs. They're very forgiving. They're very gentle. They're one of those plants that really seamlessly translate between growing something and immediately eating it. So for example, you're growing some parsley. Fantastic. You add that to your pastas. You garnish your pizzas with it. You're growing basil. You make your pestos. So it's for the amount of effort it takes to grow herbs, you can pretty much start harvesting them right away, with the caveat that you got to be careful with over pruning. And this was my tragedy last year. I got too excited about the parsley and I took too many leaves out. Now, you guys can correct me if I'm here. You don't want to really take out more than 1/3 of the leaves. You got to keep more or less 2/3 of the leaves on there. Do I have that visual understanding right?
Yeah, would say so. Yeah, I mean, just don't take too much of it. Yeah, to do a repousse, like regrow.
Yeah. So they're gonna regrow. So the reason you can't take too many. And again, I'm speaking to the fellow beginners here. The leaves is how the plant is getting food from the sun, energy from the sun, like a little solar panel. You take away too many of those little solar panels, you're left with just the stalk. And the stalk, even if you're watering it, it still needs the leaves to get the energy from the sun. The parsley withered and died. And I was so sad. So here's your insider tip and trick, listeners. You got to be careful with the pruning. Hugo, I hear that you got also some tips and tricks about pruning.
Well, yeah. On my side, it's more about fruit trees. So yeah, with what to begin? Actually, it's kind of the same. The un tiers, or not pruning too much, because again, it's gonna cause stress to it.
So talk me through it. So let's say, hypothetically, I got a peach tree.
Yeah.
Because I have been told that peach trees are good for beginners.
Yeah.
So let's say I get a peach tree. I've planted it. It's already like 5 feet tall already at the time that I'm planting it. What should I be doing in the first year? How much should I be pruning it?
Actually, like the first years when I began to do this with my dad, actually, he told me that it's actually removing the dead, diseased, and dying branches.
Okay.
You can see a bit where I'm going.
Okay, yeah.
So actually, after that, it is the removing crossing branches, the acute angle branches.
So acute. What is an acute angle?
So acute angle branches, I guess, would be ones that are coming up at a quite high angle. Like if you look at a V, there's an
Okay.
angle in that V, right? And if you make the V skinnier and narrower, that's a more acute angle. So I
Interesting.
guess that's the idea, is to maybe prune those acute angle branches in between the more obtuse angles, which are the wider angles, giving therefore the plant more space to sort of breathe and for access to fruit. Yeah, airflow, exact.
All right. So things are diseased. They're not looking right. I'm sorry. You've been voted off the island.
That's right.
And then after that, anyone who's crisscrossing, one of them has to go.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's the tight V that Bethany was talking about, the acute angles.
Exactly, yeah.
Also not good. What else are we pruning?
Sometimes they're doing shoots at the beginning, I was going to say, of the tronc.
The trunk?
Yeah, the trunk. So the shoots under the graft, it's not good. So just cut them. And
Goodbye.
yeah, goodbye. And you're going to be fine.
We will have all of these notes in the show notes to make sure that we're setting up our listeners for a very successful year of fruit trees. But yeah, that's fantastic. What kind of fruit tree would you recommend for a beginner? What's a nice gentle tree?
And I was going to say apple trees. First of all, it's for the cold. Sadly, a peach tree or nectarines or abricot.
Apricot?
Apricot, yeah. It's cool, but yeah, it's just times when there's a bad winter and I could die.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's still kind of it's resistant, but at the same time, it's not.
But the apple tree is strong.
It's tough, yeah. So I was gonna go with this or a pear tree.
Pear tree. I don't know why I thought pears grew on bushes.
Oh yeah.
I'm so sorry. That must have been a really dumb thing to say. No, I'm very much not familiar with a lot of fruit trees. What does a pear tree look like?
We can go outside. I'll show you one.
You're gonna show me. We'll include it in the show notes, listeners, for you fellow Albertans who don't know what pear trees are.
It's more elongated, I'd say. An apple tree sort of has that craggy look of
Actually, yeah.
right, and then a pear tree is quite an upright, long trunk with quite acute angled branches that tend to go like right up towards the sky. And in fact, they do say that you can improve your pear trees by putting weights on some of the branches to open up
with the airflow that Hugo was talking about.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yes, I'm going to have to inspect your pear tree. What's the yield over the season of a mature pear tree? You drowning in pears?
Oh, it's not a mature tree that I have. I planted one last spring. It did give us fruit the first year, which was because it was already a very big tree. But it was amazing. We had fruit for days. I would say, your yield will obviously depend on how big your tree is, so how far along it is in its lifespan. But yeah, it's the best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago, right?
All right, so listener, step 1, you build a time machine.
That's right.
So Hugo, thank you so much for the insider tips and tricks. I'm going to make sure that the listeners know diseased, goodbye. Shoots coming out from the bottom, goodbye. Crisscross and acute angles, you've been voted out. But after that?
Yeah, well, I was going to say one more thing.
Absolutely, say one more thing.
The most important thing.
Oh my God, we almost missed it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. After every trimming, make sure to clean your tool.
Oh, okay, yeah. The big scissors?
Yeah, actually clean your sécateur.
Okay. Why is that?
Because to not transfer
any microbes or disease between trees.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and you can do that with the alcohol spray. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. L'alcool à friction. So just to spray a bit and you're kind of good to go.
Should I be doing that with my herb scissors? I got like cute little herb scissors. I didn't know I was supposed to be cleaning that.
Actually,
it's best practice, I would say.
Especially if I'm going from like basil to marjoram to oregano to parsley. All right, listeners, in your gardening toolkit, little spray bottle of alcohol is another tip.
be be sure to buy a Felco. Thank you.
Not sponsored, but we will link them.
That is an inside joke because Hugo came over here in early spring, which was when you should be doing your pruning. It's early spring, right?
Yeah.
So before, well, the buds will be on there, but this is before they've started to come out. And he came over and he was helping me and showing me how to do the pruning. And I did not have a tool for him that he was satisfied with because my little cutters were old and just they weren't Felcos, and that was not okay. And so I rectified that. We now have a pair of Felcos.
Thank you, Bethany.
You're so welcome.
With the alcohol spray.
With the alcohol spray. We do.
Amazing. So you're all good to go for pruning.
Yeah, learned a lot thanks to this one. So thank you again.
And thank you for your insider tip and tricks. Our listeners do appreciate that. To close out this segment, Bethany, what's your insider tip and trick?
Well, the saga of the tomatoes continues, my dear friend, Justine.
Amazing.
Look, the little tomatoes that I started myself at home, they are hanging on and they're actually looking pretty good now. And a big part of that is that I went to another friend and member of the Blooming Valley Gardener Club's home recently, and she gifted me some of her tomatoes that she had in surplus. And I couldn't believe the size of them. They were just these really big plants, like monsters compared to mine. And I asked her, what's the difference here? And it was clear it was fertilization. So I had never really thought about using fertilizer of any type on seedlings, but that's what she does, and to great effect. And I'm changing my ways. I'm going to do it. And it will be, organic fertilization. I'm not about to go and get the Miracle Grow, but it's really been fun to see how those little tomatoes are perking up with that fertilization, and how quickly the difference is being made. So I've learned that you only really want to apply that maybe once a week at most. That's maybe even pushing it. But fertilization, it's, I think, going to be pretty game-changing in my gardening if I step up that game.
Amazing. So I'm learning a completely new word, because when you started this segment, I had mixed up compost and fertilizer in my mind. But I think you are describing something else. What is fertilizer? Is it a liquid?
Right. So there are different types of fertilizers, and I'm no expert, obviously, because it's something I'm just sort of coming to now. I've never used it because I use the no-dig method, and I grow directly into compost. And then, with the whole process of the leaves that we add for further nutrients and so on, and for the texture and improving the soil consistently throughout the year. So I've never needed to fertilize because that is very rich matter for plants to grow in. However, in this earlier stage of the seedlings, growing them at home, we start out with a potting mix that is only good for 3 months, they say. 3 months in terms of its the organic matter that's in there that is fertilizer. To feed the plants at a certain point, now you could wait 3 months, but my friend Chantal mentioned that that 3 months on the package that you see, it's really not as much. It's more like 2 months perhaps. So start to feed around the 2-month mark. If you're still keeping those seedlings inside, maybe as you pot them up, you want to add some of that fertilizer. And I just used a liquid one that you dilute. So it's concentrated. So you dilute it into water. It's just a few drops for a liter of water. And then you water that in with the watering can. But I will be looking into different options, and different types of plants can benefit from different types of fertilizers. So you might want to have, the ones for the tomatoes and the ones for...
So what is in fertilizer? Like, what is in this liquid?
Right. So it depends on what it is supposed to be used for. Different plants have different needs, but it's different chemical compounds. So there's nitrogen, there's phosphorus, there's calcium, and what was the other one we said there?
But that's fantastic. So you have this, what it seems like a very concentrated liquid. So it lasts what I assume is a fair amount of time. And it's really perking up those poor tomatoes.
Yeah, it's been helping so much. And then once I get them in the ground, I won't be necessarily fertilizing because I've got that rich, ready to go, no dig bed that's been prepared and is full of good nutrients. But if I find that they're just slow to fruit or something like that, perhaps I'll add a bit of another type of fertilizer, which is pelleted chicken shit. So
Amazing.
Yeah, it's called Actisol. Here in Quebec, that's what we get, Actisol. And it has a funky little smell, but
I would assume,
it's not too gross, and it you kind of get used to it, and you almost kind of like it eventually.
especially if it's giving you good results, because you're going to have that positive association.
That's it, exactly.
All right, so Bethany, thank you so much for that insider tip and trick. Keep us posted on the great saga with the tomatoes. We are on the edge of our seats to see what your tomato yield is going to be and how I can maybe edge in there.
The pressure is on, my friend. The pressure is on.
All right, wonderful. So we're going to move on into our closing segment. Listeners, we are going to talk about what we are looking forward to for this growing season. For this growing season, I am attempting something I have never attempted before. So listeners, you can follow along with this journey. I got some beautiful eggplant plants from Jardin Glen Elm, courtesy of Bethany, who couriered them directly to my house. They are looking good. They are enjoying that western sun. They look pretty happy and healthy. So far, so good. If the eggplants are successful, I am planning on roasting them and having them with a little bit of lamb, pita, maybe a little bit of yogurt. So, listeners, I'll let you know. I'll let you know how that goes, but of all the things I've planted, I'm most excited about eggplants. Hugo, what are you excited about this growing season?
Actually, a lot of things. Peppers.
Spicy.
Yeah, actually, last summer I planted them. I still had some. It just I didn't have the time to prune them, so they kind of to prune them. But I also planted them too late. So yeah, that's bad. So they kind of stayed small,
Yeah.
but they were just full of peppers. It's kind of good, but at the same time, they weren't high as I wanted them to be. So yeah, this growing more flowers. I didn't say it earlier, but yeah, growing more flowers to do nice bouquets, and yeah, more project to do.
Amazing. What are you putting in your bouquets?
Yes. What am I putting in my bouquets, Bethany?
So I will say, Hugo really does make the most beautiful bouquets. Last year, I remember him coming in with this enormous bouquet of cosmos, and it was like trailing behind him almost because it was such a big cloud of these cosmos, and it was stunning. He has great zinnias historically. I bet you there will be more this year, please.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like you also go to the side of the road and pick flowers when you see them. You probably stop all the time and
Actually, yeah. Well, yeah, actually.
yeah, just constantly finding
Amazing.
that inspiration everywhere with the flowers. Yeah.
And Bethany, what are you excited for this growing season?
I'm really excited to make a full meal from the garden.
Amazing.
That would be really fun. I did make one thing with foraged plants recently, which was not fully from my garden, but it was a delicious soup that I make every year that I call the emerald soup. And it is such a beautiful bright green. You blend it when everything's been cooked, but it's nettle and it's wild garlic, just the leaves.
Amazing.
And it has this wonderful taste, and it tastes like health. Like it's just washing away all the sadness of winter and now priming you and getting you ready for spring. And I know it's very good for your liver. And so, yeah, it has great health benefits. But so that meal has been good. But to make a real, juicy meal with all the fruits and vegetables of your labors, that will be the best moment.
Absolutely. Well, we'll keep our listeners updated on how our growing season is going. Hugo, Bethany, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. Hugo, will you be returning?
Of course I will. In the next episode.
We'll have to make Hugo a recurring guest on the podcast. Listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this brand new episode of the Blooming Valley Garden Club podcast. We hope you have a great rest of your night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Good night. Bye.